Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are on the brink of losing absolutely everything. There are protests that are erupting all over the country for different reasons. And two of the big ones is the carbon tax or affordability by the freedom movement and these Palestinian protests to, call for the end of the war or a ceasefire. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at today, among a few other different stories. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel, as well as I really want to encourage you guys to turn on post notifications so you can be notified of upcoming videos. For those who aren't aware, I have another channel called House Canada. Link for that is down in the description. And I put out a challenge to the viewers and subscribers of the community. Once that channel reaches 100,000 subscribers, which if you check, it's surpassed that by quite a bit, I will be personally going to Ottawa to watch one of the next question periods live. Well, that moment has come, and I'm going there this week. So you're not going to want to miss out on that, because some really cool things are going to be coming out from that. But without further ado, let's get into this video. So you've got a little bit of movement in the polls, not in the direction that we're anticipating. The Conservatives have actually lost 2 projected points, but not to worry. They're still sitting above the 170 seat projection, or the 170 seats that you need for majority. They're at 180 baseline, 208 rate smack dab in the middle, 226 on the high end. And when you look at the odds of winning the most seats, the Conservatives are still at 99% likely to win, with a 99% likelihood of winning a majority. So the little bit of movement, it's gone backwards a little bit, but you know the saying, sometimes you got to take one step back to take multiple steps forward. Now we have a video of Pierre Poilievre at a recent press conference that Wall Street Silver has posted on X. Let's take a look.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Justin Trudeau has a radical agenda to massively expand the size, cost, and power of the federal government, which comes at the expense of working people and seniors. It crowds out everybody, including the premiers. He wants to dominate over all of the regions of Canada and impose his will. He's imposed an unconstitutional anti-development law, C-69, and a back-breaking carbon tax opposed by 70% of premiers and Canadians. If Justin Trudeau is so sure of his plan to quadruple the carbon tax to 61 cents a litre, he should have the courage to sit down with our premiers and explain that to them, because they oppose his plan. They know that his tax is going to take money away from hospitals and schools, who have to spend more on their energy, take money out of our local social services, who will be paying out more assistance to people who can't afford to eat. It will force more social breakdown because people can't keep it together. So he should have the courage to sit down with the premiers and explain why he believes he needs even more money. In every single province the federal carbon tax applies, middle-class Canadians pay more than they get back, according to the Parliamentary Budget Officer. And the Prime Minister, by the way, he should stop gaslighting and attacking the premiers and
There you go. He does need to stop gaslighting and attacking even Canadians, not just premiers. You have the federal government at every level telling us that everything is okay. The Liberals are saying it's okay. Everything's okay. Affordability is where it needs to be. That's why we're increasing taxes, because Canadians want to fight climate change. Well, let me just ask you, the viewers, do you want to pay more in taxes to fight climate change and take on the responsibility of fixing the world's climate change? Because you can't just fix climate change for Canada. That's not how that works. We don't live in a literal bubble, but it seems like the Liberals are trying to take that on. So I'll pass the question off to you guys. Please let me know down below in the comments what you think. Next up, we have another video from X here, another testimony of unaffordability. Let's take a look.
I currently am being charged over $200 a month for a carbon tax. My refrigerator, I didn't buy groceries last pay period. You know why? There's an extra $40-something on my gas bill. $187 on my hydro bill. I filled my SUV up to go to work. Used to cost me $71. Cost me $98.
Holy crap, man.
I was feeling nauseated at the gas station, was going to buy myself a little ginger ale to drink on the way to work. A can of ginger ale, 12-ounce can, was going to cost me $3.49.
Oh, my God.
It's wrong. It's sad. It shouldn't have to be this way. Canadians are suffering. And I'm not suffering near what a lot of people are suffering. I've seen people write death notes, posted on Twitter, single mom wanting to end her life.
Holy
because
shit.
she said her 9-year-old daughter was the only thing keeping her alive anymore. It's pretty sad. I work full time. I've always worked hard. I'm a personal support worker and long.
So this is the thing that the Liberals just aren't understanding, that the average wage in Canada, just off the top of my head, I think it's like $65,000 to $75,000, somewhere around there. And that barely covers rent or a mortgage, car payment or fuel, insurance, food, additional expenses. Like, it barely covers your overhead expense. People for years have been living paycheck to paycheck, and now you're adding in all these additional taxes. So people have literally written down on pieces of paper or in spreadsheets or on notepads, on their Apple Note, whatever it is, people have literally pinched down to the penny. Here's how much I pay for a can of ginger ale or Coke. Here's how much I pay for my eggs that I buy every Monday or every Sunday when I do my grocery run. People have pinched pennies for years, and the government has the audacity to just go ahead and tackle on a shit ton more in taxes, and people are suffering. But you can't just invent more money. You can't just make up more time for people to go and get more jobs and cover the cost of, it's not even savings. It's just staying alive. And it just begs to the question, how are people going to survive this? People are going into immense amount of debt, and they're not going to be able to claw their way out. So what's the alternative? You have thousands, hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of Canadians filing for bankruptcy all at once. Is that really the state of Canada? Because that seems to be where we are right now. So let me know down below in the comments if you're feeling the effects of all of these additional taxes. Next up, you have Trudeau announcing he's spending a shit ton of money on AI. That's right. AI. Not affordability, but AI. Let's take a look at this very heartbreaking video.
Our theme for Budget 2024 is fairness for every generation. To drive the kind of growth that will move the needle for Canadians, particularly for young Canadians like millennials and Gen Z, we need to make strategic investments that will create jobs, enhance productivity, and maintain our position as a world leader in technology sectors. We need to make strategic investments that will empower entrepreneurs, small businesses, and Canadian workers, the best workers in the world. So today, I am announcing that our upcoming budget will include measures to create good jobs in our AI sector and to boost productivity by helping businesses adopt AI with an investment of $2.4 billion. First, to provide access to world-leading computing capabilities here in Canada, we will invest $2 billion to launch a new AI Compute Access Fund and a new Canadian AI Sovereign Compute Strategy.
You know where he's getting all this money is from us. He's gouging us, and then he's spending all of that money on a bunch of nonsense that isn't going to fix anything. The AI isn't going to fix affordability. Trudeau is delusional. You have people like middle class, middle upper class, even people in the thousands and the hundreds of thousands that are suffering. Everybody, you make $100,000. That used to be like, wow, look at that family. They have a household income of $100,000. They are living life. Now $100,000. What does that get you in Canada? It gets you maybe a mortgage, maybe a used car, and maybe you get to eat steak twice a week. I don't even know. Who knows what the value of money is right now, but it's not what it used to be, and Canadians are so pissed off at Trudeau's delusion. That's why you have people in the thousands coming across Canada who are getting together, and they are going after the carbon tax through protests. Let's take a look.
We are on the Quebec side of the Ontario-Quebec border. Slow rolling. gotta film, Smoothie. Hey. Tax the tax. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. We're getting ready for an eclipse viewing here. Quick, slow roll before the eclipse.
You just got people all across Canada that are absolutely fed up with Justin Trudeau, and it's not just the freedom community. Okay, it's above and beyond that. You have the Palestinian protests that are swarming Ottawa and Toronto by the thousands, and it's getting a little bit out of control. There's this recent photo here of a someone's calling it a Hamas supporter wearing a symbolic unalive vest. I don't want to say a Hamas supporter, but a Palestinian protest attendee who's wearing this as a symbolic means, and I think that's a little bit inappropriate. You have the comment section saying double standards. You have people saying that these are smoke grenades, which I don't know if that makes it any better. It seems like that's still illegal. Regardless of what this is, it seems like, they got pins in them. So yeah, it doesn't seem like an unalive vest. It does seem like they are smoke grenades, and it seems like that's a bit of an illegal thing to bring to a protest. Nonetheless, you have look at the swarm of people, thousands of people outside of Parliament here, just waiting every single weekend to show their solidarity for ending the genocide in Gaza. Here you go. And this happens every single weekend. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy with the between the freedom community or animosity rather between the freedom community and the Palestinian protests. And as long as everything is kept peaceful, I think everyone should have the right to protest whatever it is that they want here in Canada. But it seems like there's a line that's about to be crossed or has already been crossed with these Palestinian protests. You have actual, apparently, communists that are protesting. It's getting a little out of hand.
The communists have entered the fray. We have an entire procession of communists for Palestine. Hammer and sickle.
Down with genocide justice! Down with genocide justice! Down with genocide justice!
Funny enough, all these people support Joseph Stalin.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Now, of course, most people feel absolutely horrible with what's happening over in Palestine and Israel and the war and all of the innocent lives that have been stuck in the conflict and all the innocent lives of the children, the women, everybody that have been taken. That's absolutely sad. That's horrifying, and something should happen to put an end to that. But what about the protests that are happening here in Canada? And we're setting the precedent for actually protesting and celebrating communism, and people bringing what seems to be smoke grenades, like active smoke grenades, to protests. It seems a little bit odd when you had, even during the Freedom Convoy, you had people that got beaten up for holding hockey sticks, and that's not a smoke grenade. That's not an actual explosive. It's just a hockey stick to play hockey with. I mean, where's the line crossed? Has it been crossed? Is there a double standard? I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And of course, you have even more chance and bigger protests. Seems like this might have been in Toronto rather than Ottawa.
Viva, viva Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Now, of course, just like any protest, there's always going to be a bad bunch in there that likely doesn't have anything to do with the original protest organization, or is just not a part of it, trying to sabotage or include their own agenda. So I think you have to be very careful. It's a fine line to when you're discussing the Palestine protests or when you're talking about it. A lot of people I've seen are referring it to Hamas protests. I don't know if that's an accurate statement. I'm going to stay clear of that. I'm just going to say Palestine protests. Of course, there are some people that you've seen it on mainstream media even, and True North has covered it, Rebel Media has covered it, and I've even made videos about it in the past where there have been people that have been very vocal that they support Hamas at these protests. Now, Hamas has been deemed as a terrorist organization internationally. The government of Canada recognizes Hamas as a terrorist organization. Most first world countries recognize Hamas as a terrorist organization. So bunching that whole protest with that ideology, I don't know if that's the right way to go, but nonetheless, it seems like there's a bit of a double standard. But you also have Toronto police that has come out and said it's caught these protests alone. The Palestinian protests alone have cost Toronto police alone $12+ million since October 7th or October 9th, when the protests started breaking out from, the attacks on Israel at the music festival. And I think you're going to start to see an increase in those numbers. And I think that the police are going to start taking this a little bit more seriously, and or the government. And next up, we have Justin Trudeau with a press conference who's saying all we're seeing is premiers misinforming Canadians, wanting to take away Canada carbon rebate checks. Not a good look for Justin Trudeau, but let's take a look at this.
This is about the carbon tax. 6 premiers have asked for a First Minister's meeting with you. You have so far not committed to anything. What does that say to the discussions with premiers and federalism?
I continued to have robust discussions with all premiers over the past months, and I will remind people that we had a First Minister's conference on the environment and on climate change within the first months of us taking office, where we set out the framework for the pan-Canadian fight against climate change. That's exactly what we did, and we created both a backstop mechanism that puts a price on pollution and puts more money in people's pockets, and the opportunity for provinces that wanted to create their own system to ensure pollution wasn't free to do exactly that. So any premier that doesn't want to be subject to the price on pollution can do like Quebec or like BC have done, and bring in their own way of making sure that pollution isn't free. Now, the premiers continue to talk about stepping back in our fight against climate change and stepping back in the affordability measures that are putting hundreds of dollars every few months in the pockets of Canadian families. Canadian families, middle class and lower income families, get more money with the Canada carbon rebate. Economists are clear on this, than they do without it. And it is a powerful tool representing about 1/3 of our fight against climate change and our ability to reduce emissions. If the premiers want to propose, individually or collectively, another way of fighting climate change and supporting affordability for Canadians, I'm all ears. But right now, all we see is premiers misinforming Canadians and wanting to take away the Canada carbon rebate checks that are making a huge difference in people's lives.
It's so annoying that he keeps saying it's misinforming when you have actual people like Pierre Poilievre in the Conservative Party Canada and other federal MPs and even Danielle Smith, the Premier of Alberta, that have crunched the numbers, and they've said that, no, you're not getting back more than what you put in. It's costing us on average maybe $2,000 or $3,000 per person, and you get back $1,500 or $1,800. That's like me saying to you, hey, do you have a $20 bill? Give me your 20 and I'll give you $12 back. Now, in that $12, you get 2 5s and a toonie, which that's 3 pieces of currency versus the one that you give me. So you're getting back more in return than what you're actually putting in. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense unless I'm just absolutely off the spectrum and I'm missing something. It doesn't seem like it makes any sense. But I'll pass the question off to you guys. Does it make sense or does it not make sense? Please let me know, because sometimes when Trudeau speaks, I feel so gaslit that I feel myself going a little bit insane. That's where we're going to end today's video, folks. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And on your way out, of course, I'd like to encourage you guys to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.